Yakzan Shishakly, he is the co-founder of the Maram Foundation, providing aid to Syrian refugees. He joins us now from Gaziantep in Turkey. Thanks so much for speaking to us. It's been enough of a struggle for children in this war already. I mean, the sheer trauma they're actually dealing with, but now to also be robbed of the opportunity just to go to school, where does that leave them psychologically?
Well, that put them in a very bad situation and very hard. I mean, it's, as you mentioned already, it's very already problematic not to have a school to have the children go to. We're talking about a huge number. We're talking about over 100,000 child just moved recently in the past 4 months from South Idlib to the north, from northern Hama to the north Idlib. So meaning we have a huge problem. I mean, it's the biggest humanitarian disaster according to the UN agencies. And we still don't see the right support for education. Those children either will join militia at some point or will be traumatized. And we're going to see a lot of affected, like a new generation, as they call them, lost generation in Syria.
Right. They have been called a lost generation because, I mean, what options really are these children left with? And I mean, will they ever be actually given a chance to just try to catch up with their education?
Well, the problem, the school year already started, and we're talking about 8 years of war where Idlib already have a problem with the school and education and support for education. We're talking, the whole Idlib has less than 1,200 schools. Now, with what happened with the escalation of the war in the past few months, 260, I believe, out of those schools are becoming a shelter, temporary shelters. So meaning and other like around 400 schools are out of order because of the war. 86 schools were targeted by shelling or air bombing. So we really have no options. We really have no even plan as a humanitarian community to support those children. Of course, I'm like saying thank you for everybody for all the support, but the support is not enough. We're talking about over 100,000 children just moved to the area in the past 3-4 months.
And I mean, how does that leave Syria to suffer as a country in the future with an entirely lost generation?
As you already know, we already suffered from the war. We already suffered from shelter. And the winter is coming. We're already suffering from the winter. So it just adds a lot to our suffering as a Syrian. And also the generation we're going to see in the future. Our hope when the war ends, we're going to see peace. The people of Syria will try to rebuild Syria. But having those children without education, we create another problem. Probably now we're just seeing the psycho support part of it. But in the future, we're going to be way behind. We're going to see more problem, bigger disaster when you have the huge, like 8 years generations where they have no education, no access to education, with the trauma, no access to normal life, where in other countries, this kind of education, we take it for granted.
Okay, Yakzan Shishakly, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for sharing your insight from Gaziantep.